Hey everybody, it's Val here at Crafts by You. Welcome to my channel. So happy you could be here. Today is really special for me because I'm about to go to my first Stampin' Up OnStage Local event where so many of us demonstrators get to come together, be inspired, see new sneak peeks from the catalog that's going to come out, and just have a lot of fun. And so this video in particular is with them in mind, but I wanted all of you to benefit from it too. And essentially one of the things that is going to happen there are we're going to do swaps. And so this has been my swap project that I've been working on for a minute, and I wanted to not only give any of you who may be demos that received one of these an opportunity to just get a quick tutorial on it. Maybe not quick, but a full tutorial. And also for my viewers to be able to see how they too can make one of these. Really fun. You can use things that you have, but I'll also share with you the products I'm using to create it, okay? So this, you may be saying, what is this? Looks like a bird. Okay, it is a bird, but one of the things I always have had fun with is creating fascinators. And I've wanted to do one out of paper and just solely Stampin' Up products, and so this I was able to accomplish with the one thing that wasn't Stampin' Up was this alligator clip. But hey, it's Crafts by You, so I think an alligator clip is appropriate. Anyhow, I brought my lovely model with me today, Tallulah, to demonstrate how a person can actually take advantage of a fascinator. And one way is simply by wearing it as a fascinator, right? My lovely model here. So they're kind of fun to stick in there. I've had a lot of fun wearing the ones I've made to tea parties and whatnot. But if that's not your thing, also wearing it as a brooch on your lapel is another way that you could sport it. And then again, if you just really are not interested in either of those ways, snatch the clip off and stick it on a card, and then you've got a 3D card, right? Thank you, Tallulah. Everyone thank Tallulah. Okay, so these are just going to be, again, an approach, a technique that you can use in your crafting. I'm not the card guru. I'm just not. But I love Stampin' Up products because they coordinate and you can get some really cool things out of it. And this project is one of those. So got my silicone mat. I'm going to just walk through some of the dies. For those who received the swap, you've already got the recipe that came with it. And so for the project, you're going to need some silver glimmer paper, champagne foil, and whisper white cardstock. And I'll put those things below in the description also. As far as the components of this, that base piece is what we use the silver glimmer for. And this was cut out with the stitch shaped framelit dies. And so I have those here. It's this second one. It's this second one here that we used to cut this out. And it gives that nice little stitching around there. So that's our base. Then we used, for the next components, some more fun dies. This piece actually is cut out of the champagne foil, but it's using this particular piece from the Sunshine Wishes die set there. And so you see we just did part of it. And you don't need to do this full piece in the foil, right? Just get the little small component there. Next we have the greenery, and so we get that in a couple of more places. This piece actually was from the Petal Palette set that was in our Occasions catalog. You see 2 of 2, there's multiples, but it's this piece here. And while we're on this bird, we have right there, we stamped out on the Whisper White. So that's the Petal Palette set. We also have, and lastly, Mayflowers framelit dies. And from here, we were able to use that same foil with this die. We took our flower on Whisper White with this die here. And then we use Whisper White to get this piece. And so the coloring is going to happen with this piece as well as this. So I have one here for you to be able to see just how we do that and how we made that work. So maybe that's what we'll go ahead and get started with, is with the coloring, just to get these pieces. I like to kind of put all of the pieces together and or have them all done separately, so that then I can just kind of compose the elements there. And so it's really rather straightforward. With this piece especially, I wanted it to have the gradation. Then plus two, I think after you just do so many of them, you're looking for a quick way to do it. And so with our Stampin' Blends, this is the light old olive, our alcohol markers, which may be out of stock right now because I told y'all to go get them if you're not a demo and you don't have them, or if you're a demo and you have them. Y'all, these are good. So I just basically lightly go over it. But again, you can use other mediums to color this. So use your Stampin' Up! Ink pads and get them juicy in the lid and a water brush, and you can do the same thing, or even with our reinkers. So I'll put those options down in the bottom too, if in fact you're looking for numbers and that sort of thing. And so this is essentially all I did. Just came in, used the markers, and colored it up. Okay, set that to the side, and then we have this little giblet. You know, I'm missing a piece because we need another one of these in the foil, so I'll make sure to get one of those. But again, we just did our coloring. I'll fast forward through some of this also. And even on this one, your brush just kind of wants to go over the side. Just let it go. We're looking for the variations, right, that kind of come in nature anyway. So you can kind of do that. And even with this one, we just kind of took the tip, went in with it. And again, I can just blend this out a little bit more if you'd like. Just looking for those shadows. Okay. So those are a few of the components. We also need to get a doily. So the delicate white doily, which I know I have one here. Here we go. This is what we used for the bird. So with the bird, we went ahead and took that along with our light crumb cake. We're just gonna give that a wash of color on the bird. And this too has a die in that set. But even if you were to fussy cut it, it's fine. And really, your focus can be on the top because the bird is gonna sit in the nest. So we did that, and then we took the Wink of Stella in the clear and hit the bird. You could also leave the bird, you know, I mean, there's a million options. We're not going to go through all those, but if you want to leave it without the shimmer, you want to put the shimmer in the nest. I'm not sure which version you got in your swap, but that's another option. So for the nest, I decided to take the doily, and this is where we just kind of get a little creative. We're going to tear a section off. And I think it's better to do this individually rather than coloring the whole doily, because you kind of need to see, like, how is this nest gonna hold the bird. So you kind of want to fool around with this piece. I'll fast forward through some of this. And I would just suggest that once you have kind of the shape, you know, you crimp it behind the bird a little bit and just kind of hold it there so that it's not moving around on you. And so I take that light crumb cake and give it a little wash of color. You can just kind of leave them lightly open. Take the dark crumb cake. Go back and blend it out a little bit. Seriously, you don't need to do this much blending, but you kind of get into it and it gets to be fun and you just go with it. So there's our light smoky slate. And then we take the bronze and just warm it up a bit. These are the things that, you know, are not necessary, but they just kind of add a little bit more dimension to the project, and that's what I liked about it. And again, you can use a variety of methods for coloring this. This is just how I did this project. All right, so this is where you could then adhere your nest and your bird, and maybe that's what we'll go ahead and do. And you can use a variety of glues, whatever glue you choose, whatever adhesive you like. You know, one thing I've found is that when doing this, I'm gonna just go on the front and the back. When doing this project, you know, sometimes, well, the nice thing with Tombow, we know it's gonna dry clear. It's a pretty strong adhesive. But if you have clear, or even like if I use the fine tip glue pen, sometimes you're not seeing it. So it's nice to be able to just have that where you can see where you're putting the glue, and that helps things out along the way. Okay, gonna get a little wipe here, move my bird to the side, wipe up some of my inks. This is our silicone mat, and these are super handy and inexpensive. I'm usually not this careful about cleaning, but hey, we'll do a little today. Okay, so we've got our coloring and everything out of the way. So at this point, we want to take our base piece, and we're gonna just layer it up. So I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna use an obscene amount of glue, just because with the number of pieces, I'm gonna need that hold, and I don't want it to fall apart on me. In fact, when I did these, I glued them, and then after they're all set and dry, I come back to them just to make sure that I can give you guys something that's not gonna fall apart. And so this is where the creativity comes in. You just kind of get to layering. So I'm gonna take this my pokey tool and my piercer, and we're just gonna kind of go through and layer some of these things up. As far as with this branchy piece, I would just suggest cutting it up, and I mean, you can do this in a number of ways to your liking, but essentially I just go in here, and after making one, you start finding little, you know, ways you want to do it until you get to the next one, and then you switch it up. So no promise that I'll even use this whole thing, but we'll just kind of start playing around with it and see what we come up with. Okay, so once we get to this point, we're gonna just take our centerpiece flower. Again, this is kind of what we're looking at. Put a marker here to prop this up on, and you can always, after everything's dried and really solidly attached, you can come back and curl and manipulate these a little bit more. But what I do is I go ahead, again, just add more adhesive. Get that into the center. Give it a press down. And even though there's some glue coming up, that's quite all right. Just lets me know it's going to be on there solid. So we're going to have that there. Then we'll go ahead and take some of our dimensionals and peel this off, get it in the center. Now sometimes with this, you know, you may want to let this set so that it's really not wanting to move or shift or anything when you put it in here. And your fingers may start to get a little tacky if you touched in the glue a good bit. But, you know, It's part of it. That's the fun of it, right? Or if it's not fun yet, maybe it will be. But again, because we're using wet adhesives, it gives us a chance to kind of shift things around if we don't like the way things are looking. And you've got your little pokey tool there. It just gives you another way to kind of manage everything. And so then we've got our silver metallic thread. So I'm just going to loosen it up off of there. And this is, to me, I think probably the most difficult part. But if we want similar, bird's nest look, then we've got to add all the little things they found in the yard, right? So we're going to put this thread in here. And it's really good with the dimensional that it can just grip it for us. So I just try to create the loop and then let it fall on itself. And somewhat direct it. I don't know, one time I counted like 7 loops, and then the next one it was more, and so I don't know. Just create as many as you'd like. I'm just trying to kind of get it to go around the flower. So get our scissors, go in, and then just cut it a little bit longer, so you don't have that straight piece sticking out, and you can come back and tuck that in also. And so then you kind of gotta, at that point, really, again, make sure of your orientation. And this is kind of the direction of them that I had them going. And at this point, we'll take another dimensional and place it on top of this one. Double up. And we're gonna take our bird and place her here. Alrighty, and then again, you can kind of curl these if you'd like. And so at this point, you're going to want to, and here's another thing, I'm left-handed, but if you're right-handed, or you're going to clip the bird, so probably what you got was really more for a right-handed person, but that again depends on how you want to use it. But I think most of them, the bulk of it was here. Maybe not. But the idea is that you flip it over. And I think the fine tip glue pen probably would work out better. Now, you can take this and go direct to the clip. But this glue is pretty liquidy. Again, you can use whatever adhesive you'd prefer. But after a while, I just realized that if I kind of just draw out the shape of the back of the clip, which is a little bit here, and it's liquidy, so it's gonna kind of squirt out, and just kind of that shape. And then take my clip and lay it in there. And you essentially let it sit. Now, you're probably gonna find that you might need to press it into, so for example, you kind of grip it here and you're pressing the center of the bird, because those dimensionals are underneath, and that'll kind of help it. But you just let it sit, and if if it really bugs you, you can go in here and kind of clean it up. Again, this all depends on the adhesive that you want to use, but once you let that just kind of sit and dry for a bit, you'll find that when you go to open the clip, if it's sticking a little bit, just raise the clip up and kind of rub underneath against the metal, and that glue will peel right off, but it gives you a pretty good clip hold on there. So essentially that is the paper fascinator or brooch by me here at Crafts by You, Val. And I hope that if you guys like these kind of projects, that you would want to subscribe, click the little bell, make sure you get the notifications, and come get crafty with me. Try out some new things. See your stamping supplies in a different, perspective, different light. Make some wearable art. Make something with dimension. Have fun with it, peeps. All right, so glad you guys could join me. Catch me on all the socials at Crafts by You. Make sure that you post up your projects. Oh my goodness, if y'all would make some of these and post them and tag me on Instagram, I would adore it. Please do. Let me know what you think. Talk to you guys later. Bye.